With 4 days to go, what is behind door number 4 on the Jon Coupland Cars Advent Calendar Countdown to Christmas? We're doing this little mini-series and lots of cars have come and gone, quite literally, because every single car you've seen so far has left the Jon Coupland Cars collection in the past few years. There's been some that I've looked back on and thought, actually, that was a really good car. In at number 4 then, what do you reckon to this? Quite possibly one, if not the rarest car that I'm going to feature on this countdown to Christmas. And if you're thinking, John, that's a Mazda 121, you would be right. If you're thinking it's a Ford Festiva, you would also be right. But this model that we're looking at, K175YPE, is actually a 1993 Kia Pride, the LX model, but badge engineered pretty much to be a Mazda 121 and a Ford Festiva. They share the same platform. This one, a 1.3 litre petrol edition, and at the time of me purchasing it, there was only 5 left on the UK's roads. If you know Jude Curry, if you know Chod Spot of London, then you will know this car. If you are a member of the Young Retro Motor Club, you will know this car. Jude is a young lad and he lives down Landon Town Way, and his side hustle before going to university was buying cars that he'd spotted. He's got a habit of spotting old cars and putting notes on them and then enjoying them and rescuing them and saving them, which is exactly what Jude did with this car. He bought it from an 83-year-old lady who was the original owner at the time. He put a note on it, and when she decided it was time to hang up her driving gloves, she gave Jude a call and he bought it. He had a big collection at the time, just like myself, and so sold it to a young lad who had it as his first car for a year. I kept in contact with Jude because, he also had another Kia Pride and I admired them at the time, and he knew that I was into my weird and wacky with my Protons. Anyway, the owner of the car that Jude sold it to contacted me and basically said he was going to scrap the car because it needed some work before an MOT and he hadn't got the time or money to do it. So, with a day left on the MOT and armed with £250 on quite possibly the hottest day of 2021, Mrs. Jon Coupland and I drove the 3 hours down to South London and picked the car up, and I drove it back with 0 faults all the way home. So £250 I paid for the car, and it was genuinely destined for the scrapyard the next day. No false jeopardy. It was going to be a case of the MOT ran out the next day, and if I hadn't have bought it, the scrap man was going to come and pick the car up. I couldn't have that happen on a car that was so rare and such a beautiful example. Yes, as we've seen, there were some dents and some knocks and a little bit of rust, but everything was there. No trim missing, no badges missing, all the documentation, and we'll see in a minute, even the white wall spare was in the boot, along with the toolkit and electrical books, etc., etc. It needed some TLC, and at the time, I thought I am going to be the person to give this some TLC. Anyway, I got it home, made a few videos about it, and you can see those on the channel, and the originals are in the description. And you can see the car is a lovely little survivor. It hadn't been molested or messed about with or damaged to the point where, well, it's had new tyres in its life, and that was about it. 68,932 miles on the clock when I finally got it home, and after making sure that it was all okay and giving it a good old clean and a polish and a little bit of fettling, new dealer sticker, etc., it stayed at my house just behind my garage off the road for probably a good 6 to 8 months. I didn't know where to start with it. I'd got so many projects on the go, including the building of my brand new garage. So I replaced things, as you can see, such as the wobbly lights, etc., but decided that it was time to let it go after about 8 months. It sat going green, and I put it on Car and Classic because I wanted the car to go to somebody who was an enthusiast of the car. There's the engine bay. There's that 1.3 litre petrol engine. You can see under there it's had a new battery at some point. And look at that, you've still got the Kia sticker on the air filter, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. Anyway, I put it up for sale on Car and Classic. The MOT had run out. It was sold as a project, and I sold it to a chap who came and picked it up on a trailer for £600. So it has had a few changes of ownership in the past few years. People trying to get it back on the road and back to show-worthy condition. The chap I sold it to, I believe, sold it to a young lad who did lots of work on it, including upgrading all the suspension, cleaning all the suspension, replacing things like track rod ends, etc., etc. And then a couple of years ago decided that he'd had enough. He'd had enough of the car. It needed some body work, and so sold it for a quite cheap price. I don't know the exact price, but it was taxed, it was insured, and it was an MOT'd, and I believe it was about £600 to £800. It was an absolute bargain. It was bought by a young man called Jack Jesse, and if you are in the Young Retro Motor Club, you will have seen this car. It's been on display at the NEC. He's done some very tasteful modifications to the car, upgrading it. It's got a square number plate on the front now, and he's just, I don't know, Jap-spec'd it a little bit, but nothing that has ruined the car. He's given it a good old clean, a good old polish, and he's enjoyed it to the point where he's put around about 8,000 miles on the clock. It's still MOT'd, it's still taxed, and it's still insured, and it's still in the ownership of Jack, who, as I say, started the Young Retro Motor Club on Facebook in 2014. There's one of the original white wall tyres. How cool is that? And it was a shame that I couldn't get replacement white walls for all the way around the car, because that would have really made it pop. If I was to have kept it, that would have been my mission. But yeah, MOT'd until 2025. Loved, cherished, taken to shows, and considering that this car literally was destined to be squished beyond recognition. Such a rare car. I haven't checked today how many are left on the roads, but one of 5 sort of 5 years ago, so there's going to be less now, isn't there? And there it is, the lovely little Kia Pride LX, Mazda 121, Ford Festiva. And many people, when I put my video on the channel, had good memories of these and said they were blooming good little cars, and that you literally do not see them anymore. I genuinely think, should this have been restored to concours condition, it would have been a Festival of the Unexceptional Contender for either this year or next year. Anyway, I didn't lose money on it. I got to make some videos on it, and I got to keep it on the road. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think? Should I have kept this car, or did I do the right thing moving it on? Have you seen it in the metal? Do you know Jack? Do you know Jude? Have you seen it? Let me know. What's tomorrow? Well, we'll see you tomorrow for that one. Plenty more cars coming on the Jon Coupland Cars Countdown to Christmas. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs up please. If you haven't already done so, comment down below. What did you reckon? Was it one that I was right to get shot of, or should I have kept it? And if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. Till next time, have a great day. Thanks for watching. See ya. Thanks for watching this latest video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, I've selected a couple more videos for you, especially on this page. You might enjoy those, and don't forget to subscribe to always keep up to date with the channel.